Hey folks, welcome to week 10 of Web Design 1. How is everybody? I hope you're doing well, taking care of yourselves, and getting work done. All right, so week 10, we are back fully online now with deadlines and stuff to do and projects to work on and all sorts of great things. So let's take a look at where we are at in the syllabus. Okay, so week 10 is going to introduce a brand new project, our second project for the semester, our second and final project. We have two major projects. Before we get into the details of project 2 and what we're going to be doing going forward for the remaining weeks in the semester, let's go over a couple of sort of show notes, as it were. First of all, you will notice in Canvas that the syllabus has been updated. The original syllabus basically ended at week 9 and did not have a lot of information from week 10 through week 16. Now that has all been filled out accordingly, and the new version of the syllabus is up on Canvas under syllabus. So take a look at that. Also under Canvas, under assignments, you'll see that a variety of new items have either appeared or existing items have been edited, mostly revolving around Project 2, all new due dates. So this is all up to date, ready to roll. Okay, so speaking of due dates, today is March 30th, and before we move on to Project 2, we have to finish up Project 1. Your final deliverables for Project 1 are due today at 9 p.m., you'll see here. So deliverable 6, which is your full prototype in Adobe XD, your Adobe XD file completed for Project 1 is due to be uploaded here. And deliverable 7, which is your online publication, the link to it is due to be uploaded here. Now we went over sort of how to do the publication in our last online lecture, the week 9 lecture. So go back and watch that video if you're unsure of how to do the publication. Now, given that we have been on a bit of a strange schedule and getting used to the online environment, if your team is truly having difficulty getting Project 1 done by tonight, make sure you have emailed me and asked for an extension, and we can talk about that. Furthermore, if you don't need an extension, but you're just really unsure about how to publish your XD file based on the video I presented, let me know, and I will go through it with you individually. Just so we're clear on that. All right, so first things first, today, March 30th, the deadline is for Project 1. Now, of course, Project 1 was due back on the 27th, but we moved the deadline forward just so we could get used to the online environment. Okay, so this week, week 10, we normally would have met in person on today, the 30th, plus April 1st and April 3rd. April Fool's Day, which has some relevance to this upcoming assignment. So once you get Project 1 uploaded and ready to go, our next thing to do is turn our attention to our next project, which is called an excellent e-commerce site. Let's take a look at what that project is. We'll go through all the details. We'll talk a little bit about what it's all about. We'll look at some of the media you're going to have to view, and then we'll talk about upcoming deadlines and whatnot. Okay, let's look at the actual project. So in the projects folder in files, you will find this handout here, Project 2, an excellent e-commerce site, and this gives us all the details. So the theme for this particular project is 25 years of toy design at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Now that might seem strange to you. Toy design at the Fashion Institute of Technology. First of all, what is the Fashion Institute of Technology? Well, FIT, as it's more commonly known, is an art and design school in New York City, and as the name implies, it did start out as a fashion design school, but over the years it has added many more majors and is a really well-known and nicely revered school. As you can see here, they have a whole bunch of design programs, including things like graphic design, technical design, photography, so on and so forth. It is a full-on art and design school with fashion at its center, but it does a bunch of other things. Their toy design program, which this project is based off of, is one of the only ones in the country and is really a pretty amazing program. So we'll get back to them in a moment because we are going to tie directly into some work that their students did over the years. Okay, so back to the assignment. So FIT's pioneering toy design program celebrated its 25th year in 2016. Of course, it's 4 years later, so they're now approaching their 30th anniversary coming up next year in 2021. Their toy design program is a Bachelor of Fine Arts program. It's the first of its kind in the world and has at its heart a respect for children and for play. That's why the program has been so successful, producing graduates who shape the toy industry, working on some of the world's most iconic toys. So that is your theme. That's going to be your background. You don't need to know too much about them other than just to maybe have some interest in what they're doing. But we are going to look at some of their students' work, and that's going to be the launching point for your project. Okay, so directions. You're going to go to the link below, which is right here, which we'll check out in a second, and you're going to look through the flip book of some of their best student design dating from 1991 through their anniversary year of 2016. You're going to choose whichever toy that you want, that you like, that is speaking to you, that you're like, wow, that's a great toy, I want to work with that toy. And you're going to use that as the basis for your excellent e-commerce site. Now, I am allowing no duplicates because there are only 6 people in the class and only 3 teams. And so, therefore, we can very easily not duplicate the same toy. So everybody will submit what toy they want, and we'll try not to have some duplicates. Now, let's go to the site and we'll take a look at how to choose your toy. So when you click on this link, it takes you to this here, which is their 25th anniversary page on their website. And they provide a flip book of some great student toy designs from 91 to 2016. Now, of course, this is not every student that ever attended the school, but it is some of the highlights. And of course, while you're here on this page, you can check out more about their Toy Design BFA program by clicking here, reading a little bit about the person who founded the program and is the chair of the program, and just to get a little background on them as a school in their program. All right, so the main thing you're going to do is going to go through this flip book and take a look at the student design toys. So this is from 1991, which is when it started, so they're only showing one toy design, this stuffed animal here. Now, we'll keep clicking, and you'll see that there's a bunch from 1992. We get these 2 guys here, and 93, they're showing off this one here. This is almost like one of those popper toys that toddlers use, but instead of being a vacuum or a lawnmower, it literally shoots little plastic balls, which sounds pretty amazing. It would probably annoy most parents. Then we get into 94, and you'll see here on each of these, of course, is the student's name who did the design. Obviously a photograph of the prototype that they had built, and the year in which it was designed, right? So now, as you're going through them, go through the whole flip book. There's a whole bunch. Pick out the toy that you really, truly like. And once you have found the one you're in love with, well, this is interesting. This is a monster who hunts bugs, who also happens to be a police officer. That must have required a lot of schooling to have all those careers. Anyway, so once you pick the one that you truly like, you can save the photo, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's say you are a fan of this mouse. It's a really good looking mouse. You are going to simply right click on the picture, and I'm working in Safari. This works on other browsers too, but it's really easy to do on Safari. So right click on the picture, go to Open Image in New Tab, and that will take you to the full-size version of the image in a new tab in your browser. Click on that. Now, of course, this is a split image because there was both toys, but that's okay. You can crop it in Photoshop and just focus on the toy that you want. And of course, notice I have the magnifying glass, so it's not showing me the full size. The full size is 1920 by 770 pixels. So if I click on that, now I get a nice full-size image of Mr. Mouse, and I'm going to right-click again and then save the image to downloads, and now I have the image. Why do you need the image? Well, because you are going to use this not only as the inspiration for your website, but from the image you are going to create some illustrations, some graphics, some schematics. Maybe you'll clean up the photograph and do some different things to it. You're going to need some promotional and marketing images for the toy, and since we only have access to these images per toy from the flipbook, you're going to have to get creative on how to create some more interesting imagery about this toy, basically creating them yourself. Now, because of that added that added requirement for this particular project, we're actually eliminating a few steps from our web design workflow, and also simply to speed up the online process of working now in class. So we'll get to that in a bit. But anyway, so save the photo of the toy that you really want. And then we'll get back to the assignment. You may want to pick 2 toys just in case by coincidence you happen to pick the same one as another team. But more than likely that probably won't happen. All right, let's go back to the assignment. Okay, so now that you've got your toy and you know which one you are going to work with, obviously you only have the photograph, you don't know too much about it, so we have to go through some initial brainstorming steps. And these are what we're going to tackle this week in week 10. We're going to work on our brainstorming steps in class this week. Now it's listed under homework, but since we're basically all working from home, everything is homework. So we went over the Fashion Institute of Technology. You can certainly learn more about them. Posted in announcements for this week, 2 videos about the Fashion Institute of Technology. You will find them on the announcements here. Let's go up to announcements. And Fashion Institute of Technology Toy Design Program, and there are 2 videos you can watch just to give you a little more insight into their program. Both of these are from them directly, and it just gives you a nice little overview about what the program's all about and shows them at a toy fair at the school. So certainly check those out. Consider this your textbook reading, as it were. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look back at the assignment. Okay, so then the next thing you're going to work on, you're going to start out with the initial brainstorming steps. So since you only have the photo of the toy you like, you're going to write a 1-page explanation of what you think this toy is all about. What is its name and narrative? What's the story about the toy? What are its play features? Who is its intended audience? Now, you don't know any of this. You just have a photo. So you have to imagine all this stuff. This is going to get you guys to brainstorm and work together and really put together an interesting story about the toy. This is really a great ideation technique, and it does have a real-world companion, which we'll talk about in a minute, that actually happens at real toy companies. Okay, once you have done that, you are going to imagine what other toys, accessories, or items would complement your main story. So if you were choosing the mouse, for example, you'd have a main story about the mouse, but maybe he's got some friends, maybe he's got a location that he goes to, some accessories, a tractor that he drives perhaps, or something like that. You're going to expand its world and assume that there will be some other play items that go along with it. So you will write a 2nd page about these ideas. So the 1st page is just your imagination about the toy itself. Give it a name, come up with a story about it, give me some play features. What's a play feature? Well, how does the toy function? Is it electronic? Does it talk? Does it have clothes that come on, off and on of it? There's a variety of ways in which you can play with the toy, of course. And then you're going to write the 2nd page, which sort of continues your brainstorming efforts to imagine what other toys and accessories or items would complement the main toy. Now, of course, in this brainstorming package you are putting together, you can include sketches of your own. Feel free to doodle, sketch, thumbnail, whatever you want. Use your imagination and be as specific as possible. So this is our main goal for this week. Okay. Now, the actual submission for the initial brainstorming steps is not until next week. So you have this entire week to work on it. So you can spend today, the 30th, finishing up Project 1, making sure everything works properly and get that uploaded to Canvas. And then you have basically Tuesday through Friday of this week and into the weekend to work on these initial brainstorming steps. Now, the initial brainstorming steps are not due, like I said, until next week. They are due on April 10th by 10 a.m. April 10th by 10 a.m., which is next Friday. Oodles of time to be working on your brainstorming steps. Why are we giving you almost 2 full weeks to work on the initial brainstorming steps? Because the amount of work and detail and imagination you put into these steps will completely fuel all of your decisions for building the website. So it's really important to get as much of this done as you can. Think about all the brainstorming and ideation techniques that we've gone over in this class and other classes, and put them to good use. Okay, so that's for this week. Now, I'm not going to go through all the rest of the steps for the assignment right now because I don't want to overburden you with too much to think about, but you are certainly welcome to go through the syllabus and see the due dates on everything, and naturally read through the rest of the assignment to see what actually sort of has to get done for the site. Now, beyond this, like I said, there is a real-world component to this assignment, aside from the fact that it is tied in with Fashion Institute of Technology's toy program. Out in the real world, there are places like Hasbro, which are down in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which not only create and manufacture toys, but they have what's called an ideation lab. And at Hasbro, it's a really great place. I've been down there. I've had students intern down there at other schools I've worked at. They bring together people from a variety of different departments, designers, salespeople, interns, accountants, you name it, and they work together on brainstorming ideas for toys. So toy designers might come up with a single toy, like maybe this dump truck or whatnot, and then their job is to sort of imagine the story behind it, and what it's all about, and what its play features are, and if it has any friends or accessories or other components either in the real world or online or whatnot. It's certainly a fun place to work. They hire a bunch of interns and people from a variety of different departments also to pitch in to do a variety of things. This is an activity they did during Christmas. And like I said, they do bring in college interns like these guys. So we'll talk more about their internship program later on in the semester. It might be something you guys are interested in for your internship requirement. It's a possibility. All right, so that is it for the week. Hopefully that all comes across clearly. If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or whatnot, be sure to email me and I will help you out. And I will talk to you soon.